Welcome back to another walkthrough from For the Tribe. This is Zelda: A Link to the Past, walkthrough 12, The Master Sword. So we start off, we exit the mountain tower, make our way off of Death Mountain, now we need to go back to the cave that will lead us to Kakariko Village. We enter the cave. You can avoid the bats and the holes. And enter the second room of the cave. In this room there are a series of holes, each one with a bat next to it. And then we can exit the cave, and we'll find that we are on a cave right above where we entered Death Mountain. So then, we need to go back to the Lost Woods. It's still covered in fog. Make our way through the forest, over to the secret area where the Master Sword is located. If we read the plaque with the Book of Medora, it says the hero's triumph on Cataclysm's Eve, known as three symbols of virtue, the Master Sword he retrieves, keeping the Knight's line true. Now that we have all three pendants, we can go up and grab the Master Sword. Hazralah speaks to us from the void. He tells us that with it, that we should be able to defeat Aghanim. And he tells us that the destiny of this land is in our hands. Now, we see that the fog is cleared from the forest. As we exit the Master Sword area, Zelda screams to us and says that soldiers are coming to the sanctuary. So it seems that Aghanim has finally gotten a hold of Princess Zelda. So we need to come to her rescue. If we talk to the brother on the right, he says that the fog is cleared over the forest, and he tells his brother that they can go there again. This tree will become important at a later point in the game, so we need to remember it. Now that we have the Master Sword, we can go back up onto Death Mountain and get the magic of Ether. We're going to do that at this point just for simplicity's sake. Since we already learned about the magic of Ether, we will just tie that loose end right now, instead of waiting until later to get it. It's always helpful to get more items that can aid us. Make your way to the top of the Death Mountain. Enter the magical transporter. Now you're in the Dark World, and for the first time, you are there, not as a bunny. The two guys, the bully and the ball, are both impressed with you that you got the Moon Pearl. Now we use our magic mirror to transport to the top of the Spectacle Rock. And it's important to note that the spot where we transported back from the Dark World to the Light World, at that spot we can always transport back to the Dark World by returning to that same spot. Now we can hold up the Master Sword and get the Magic of Ether. Make our way back through the caves to Kakariko Village. Now we're just on the outskirts of Kakariko Village. Now we're going to head back to the Sanctuary. And talk to the sage of the Sanctuary. He tells us that a group of soldiers took Princess Zelda to the highest room in the tower to sacrifice her. He tells us that we must find her before the wizard works his magic. He's injured and then he vanishes into the Dark World. Notice, now that we have the Master Sword, it's twice as powerful as our regular sword. So we can kill green soldiers with one hit now, and blue soldiers will only take 2 hits to kill. Now if we go back up to the castle, enter it, and we can go to the tower that up until now has been blocked off by a barrier. Now this barrier, if we just try to walk into it, we won't be able to pass through, but if we slash it with the Master Sword, it will open. And now we can enter Hyrule Castle Tower.